silly today, so I don't know how this session's gonna go.
This will be fun.
At least they can read it. There we go.
Yeah, was I unmuted? Yeah, they can at least hear it. Let's see if we're streaming. We are. Good. Okay, here we go.
Yay.
Oh, my computer's freaking out. That's fun. I don't want to look at that. Okay.
Ours
So
gave out midstream this morning. It's not just you.
I saw that. I saw the other. Oh, thanks, Dash, for subscribing.
I like that
Yeah,
Relic
man,
says
that's what
boobs
I'm
and
here
butts,
for.
and Randall says Google refund.
Give me that Google refund on those boobs and butts. Mm-hmm.
Just Google. Wait, what?
Justice, please stop forever.
Google reason.
No.
What?
I have recently gotten a couple of new followers in the stream, and the other day I had somebody reach out to me on DMs on Twitter, and they were like, "I just started following you on Twitch," and that was the whole message, and I was like, "Okay?" ? And they were like, "You're very strange," and I was like, "And?" And they were like, "Your streams don't make sense," and I was like, "Cool." Like I
You fuck off.
Well, I was just kind of like.
Should I smile more?
And like, no, I was honestly like, and like, what do you want me to do? Like, you're making statements, so you're not asking me for anything. Yeah. And they were like, "You're autistic, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yep." And they were like, "This makes sense then." And then that was it. That was all the messages they sent me.
What the fuck, man?
I don't know. Like, it didn't seem particularly aggressive. You know, it was a very strange encounter. I do enjoy those though. So here we are. All right. One thing I wanted to share with stream is before I start stream or before I start a session, I usually ask all of my campaign players the same thing. And what I find interesting about this is, one of the reasons I do this is because I've talked with a lot of GMs about how to get your players like in the mood to play the game, and so it's sort of, if you do like little rituals, it can sometimes get their brains in the right place a little faster if you've done it for long enough. So I ask my players if they have dice, if they have their character sheet. I ask for a liquid of their choosing, because not everybody likes to drink alcohol, and sometimes we play in the morning. No judgment. And then I ask if they have a piece of paper to write down thoughts on, because the number of times somebody's gone, "Wait, I have to write that down," is annoying. So have that piece of paper. If you forget to do this and then ask your players to roll dice in the middle of the session, your husband might go, "Well, where are my dice?" And everyone else will groan because he has 1,000,000 dice.
You have like twice the amount of dice that I do. I don't want to hear
But she never forgets hers.
That's true. I am surrounded by dice. Yeah. There are dice in every room in this house. I can pull dice out of thin air. Anyway, the other thing that I like to... Yeah, the other thing I like to do is I like to ask the players what they remember from last time. Now, I remember stuff from last time, and sometimes I'll fill in the blanks if I think they're not remembering something I think is important, but that helps get them in the right mindset. Then I go over things that I wrote down specifically at the end of last session. I ask them what they learned. I read that back. That fills in some more blanks. And then the last thing that I do is I go over the role-playing point moments. That fills in some more blanks. That helps us all sort of build a picture and sort of set the scene. So I recommend everybody do this in their campaigns. All right, here we go. What do you remember from last time?
There was a really good date.
Quentin Dating
right.
Sim 2.0.
Wow. Most of the session...
It's DLC, thank you.
I think most... we spent...
It's Dream Daddy, except it's Green Daddy.
Hey, Diana made a bun.
I think we spent the beginning of the last session doing like a larger recap and checking in with each of the characters. We were back at an inn, and we sort of like had a moment with each of the characters, what they were thinking. I do that after I take a long break from things, which is also helpful. So about half of last week's session was that, and then the other half was was Quentin going on a date with the blacksmith, right?
Yep.
Yep. And it went just totally fine. And everyone's fine. Hi, how are you?
It's not over.
Well, the last the group knows is he left with her. So I think that's where we left it.
It's been elf napped.
Right. Does anybody remember anything else from last time?
I think that was kind of
Yeah. I tried to scare Gorko, and the dude will flip me for 6
That's
there.
right.
Yep. And Marthalla has her very own room.
Yep.
She does.
I'm real fucking mad.
Yeah. Does anybody remember Felix stopping by?
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
but
we told
then
him to
Druge
not
had
talk
to be
to
the
us 'cause we were
face,
looking
and that
at
went
Quentin.
poorly.
So, yes, it did go a little poorly, I guess you could say, for Druge. Wordman, what were you saying? Or Brandel?
We told him to. He came by, but we told him to not talk to us because we were looking at Quentin.
Basically.
Yeah. Do you remember what he...
Sort
Bless you.
Excuse me.
Do you remember what he told you back?
of. That's a good question.
Okay, do you remember that he said, I'll stop by at breakfast tomorrow morning so I can discuss where the next
right,
piece
yeah,
is?
he said that.
There
Yeah,
we go.
I
Good.
totally remembered. Just now.
Definitely remembered. Yeah.
Okay, anything else you all remember from last time, or we want to go look at the learns?
I think it best sums it up.
All right, so last time y'all learned, Marthalla learned that Quentin can write. Also learned that Marthalla specifically also learned that Felix does not believe in true love.
Oh, yeah.
We learned that stuff.
Very anti-it.
We also learned that stuff can actually get to Relic. That maybe Marthalla is a hopeless romantic. Gorko is settling in. And Quento has no game. Or you could look at it as an endearing lack of game.
Only games you win are the ones you don't play.
Wow. That's a quote. Okay, so for the RP... Oh, that's right. For the RP points, I actually took the RP point from last time, and before I accepted this, I asked you all if you were willing to do a rules change. Do you all remember what that
right.
rules change
we cheated,
was?
and then you cheated back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the rules
That you
change...
could give it to somebody whenever you want it.
Right. So from now on, when you get the role-playing point, at any time during the session, if somebody's on the struggle bus and you want to help them out, you can absolutely give them your role-playing point. The more story, the better. Yeah. So apparently I have the role-playing point for Gorko's response to the ghost. So when Relic tried to... Oh, my brain just stopped.
Play a little trick.
Mm-hmm. And instead of Gorko being like, oh no, and running away, Gorko actually had an actual response. And I really enjoy that y'all give me the time to be like, hang on, let me think about this for a second. And then I can respond. That really helps. So some other moments we had were Relic clowning on Gorko. Relic disguised as a child. Marthalla and...
I'm so good.
No.
Marthalla, Marthalla in general, white-knuckling the trunk and just being here for it.
I was
Dirty.
really excited about this date.
Yeah.
Although that does sound really dirty, just as you're absolutely right.
Every session, I think, like, something happens where I remember that this is not a family stream. Another...
Was it ever?
No.
That's-
No.
I think my favorite one was Harley trying to buy a metal paw.
Yeah.
It's just really funny.
No, so somebody asked me if any of my streams were family friendly at a work event because I was talking about D&D because I can't help myself.
No.
And I was like, yeah. No. And since then, every Treasure Tuesday session, I remember why I said no. And every time I play Broken Bane, I remember why I say no. And almost every time I do a brunches, I remember why I said no. I think probably my most family-friendly one is Shift, which isn't streamed at all. So anyway. We also had a role-playing moment for Brandel. Brandel for having another perfect Brandel reaction. What are the rest of you doing right now? Great,
yeah.
this is what we're doing. Oh, yeah, you were watching Marthalla and Druge,
I
and
was
you were like...
watching with Marthalla.
Right.
Watch.
And another nomination was Quentin for leaning into the awkward. Okay, so stream. At the end of the session, what I will do is I will ask the players to tell me what they learned, which again is part of this little ritual, and then I'll ask them for role-playing moments. when I ask the players what they learned, that's a good time for you to start nominating your own favorite role-playing moments in chat. I will include those. The players will vote on them, but I accept nominations from chat. All right, so Quentin just walked out the door with Blacksmith, who I still don't think you know the name of.
Does I assume Quentin knows the name.
We didn't RP through it, but that definitely would have been one of the.
I mean,
things
yeah,
to
I
discuss.
assume, like, yeah, you
Okay.
go through that, but I assume
If you
know.
if you want to back up and
Seems
RP through that, we
it
can.
seems
but-
awfully well, how did you ask her? Like, were you just like, so what's your name? Like, what did that look like?
Name, what's your
I
story?
think he probably would have tried to be more smooth and been like, "Oh,
Yeah, shorty.
your handwriting is so beautiful. You know, my signature looks like this. What's yours look like?" That whole like, how do you spell your name when you don't remember somebody's name at all? You're like, so how do you spell your last name? And they're like, Johnson. Like, yeah, is it S-E-N?
How do you spell your last name? Smith? Yeah, that. Because she's a smith, a blacksmith.
Right.
Yeah.
No? Okay, I'm funny.
No, I got it.
You're
I
supposed to
agree.
laugh when I'm funny. I have to ask
I had
Quentin a
sassy
question.
enough day. I almost said, "When you are, I will." That was funny. That was funny.
Wow.
I've had a day. It's
Oof.
nothing personal.
My heart is hurt.
Divorce. Divorce.
There's only
Do you
one
have to
answer.
unmute from peeing to say that?
Oh, also, stream. The pet cam is back, but only when a pet lays in it. We will obviously not be seeing Dr. Aegon anymore, but this is Professor Tungsten. He
Oh,
is
is that 10 done? Oh, it
he's
is.
technically Quentin, the player Quentin's cat, but he occasionally tolerates me and he loves these beds, so I stole him, basically. Okay, so that's how you asked for her name. So you left with her. Druge and Marthalla.
What is- you still haven't given me your name.
Well,
Yes, I have.
yeah.
You said
Sucks
Smith.
to suck.
Your character's name is Quentin, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
we
did
have
you DM
agreed
it
to
to me?
use Discord, right?
I
didn't
mean, well,
realize
I
that
don't
was
know the
Discord.
name, so.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay, and so Druge and Marthalla are sitting at the table. We can either pick up, like, as the door shuts to the outside behind Quentin and the blacksmith, or we can fast forward to the morning. Which moment would you rather start with?
Marthalla absolutely would have looked around for Felix after they left. Like, now that the main event has already happened and is over with, I would try and find him to focus on him.
Got it. Yeah.
But
So-
he very well might have left. I don't know.
No, he so when he was like, okay, y'all are useless, then he goes over to the fireplace where I had said a younger set of dwarves were carousing, and he, like, kicks one out of his chair, positions it by the fire, and, like, sits in it grumpily, drinking his beer, and occasionally Murray will bring him more.
I would, like, wave at him from across the room very emphatically.
He's gonna, I don't know if this has ever happened to y'all, but it's definitely happened to me, where I have waved emphatically at somebody from across the room, and they very clearly see me, and then they super ignore me.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, he's gonna do that.
Alright, fine. Fine, Felix. Fine.
But you get
But
the...
if everyone else wants to pick up the next day, that's fine.
Well, you gonna say anything to Druge, or just immediately like, oh, they're gone, I'm gonna go look for Felix, or...
Well, we ended, like, I had already been gossiping with Druge during the date.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did indeed happen, yes.
Oh, wait, no, I forgot. After they left, you tried to follow, Druge held you back. Brandel kept watching Marthalla. You squealed in happiness and was slapping at Druge in excitement and asked like, did you see? And Druge is also excited. This was just for a couple of minutes. Brandel gets excited because they're excited. So that's kind of what was happening there. So then you look for Felix. Yeah, so is that the end of the evening? You head up to bed, or?
I mean, if Felix is being otherwise unresponsive, and obviously so, and Quentin has left for the evening and apparently doesn't need the room to himself, then yes.
Okay. Anybody
think
want to do
that's fair.
anything? What was that, Marthalla?
I was just saying, yeah, I think that's fair.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
So everybody goes to bed. Brandel, you going to bed?
Yep.
What was that?
Yep. I'm just gonna go to sleep.
You sound
Marthalla probably.
suspicious
Oh, sorry.
when you say stuff like that.
Why? I'm just sleeping, man.
What would Marthalla do? Oh, Jelly's awake. Why are you awake?
Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Marthalla would have had like a brief moment where she like pauses with her hand on the door handle, like thinking, should I go and talk to Relic, or should I? No, I'm being silly, and then she'll go into her room.
Relic, do you hear anybody coming up the stairs? Are you gonna try and talk to Marthalla at all, or are you bundled up in bed at this point?
Well, that's a wonderful question. What time we think it is, roundabout right now?
Well, Quentin and Blacksmith Lady probably... I think the date was going well, so it probably would have been like maybe 10 or 11.
Sounds right.
And if everybody went to bed fairly quickly, probably like 11:30-ish?
Well, I've been sort of brooding in my room after having to come to terms with the fact that I scared a child and I didn't feel great about that. Yeah, you know what? I thought about trying to get up to some mischief, but I really don't know what I would do to get into mischief. So yeah, I'll listen at the door for when they're all going to bed, and then I'll go to bed. Make sure I wasn't missing out on much.
Okay. I just asked you a question, which is kind of relevant, so take a look at that real quick. Well, that's adorable. Jelly in stream was like, hello, I'm actually thinking of having a nappy nap because she's in a very different time zone. And Luthera said, Idris can't sleep. And Jelly said, Jelly goes to bed with headphones on, still listening to stream.
Nighty night.
Hi, Alex the DM89. Thanks for following me. Hope you enjoy the silliness.
Thanks.
Oh, apparently you are known. Welcome.
Yes. We know and love.
We know and love Alex. Great. That's good to know. All right. So, Relic, so you're brooding in your room. Would it be the kind of thing like whenever there's a step on the stair, you kind of like listen at the door to see if you can hear your friends, or are you sort of?
Yeah, you know what? I think so. I think they know I can't come out, so why they leave me up here all alone all night? Nobody wants to come up here and play no games or nothing. I'm just stuck here waiting till we can go to the bank.
Okay, so one of the times that you go to the door, so you hear somebody come up the stairs, and then you hear the footsteps stop in front of your door. And do you like put your, so you're listening at the door?
Yeah.
So you
I
hear
can put my little ear up next to it.
Relic. You hear Relic. Are you there?
Hey, hell yeah. Yeah, I'm here. Who's that?
They've lied to you.
Who? Who lied?
You hear
Where's this bloody voice coming from?
You hear a chuckle, and the voice says, "You know who. They lied to you."
That's bloody creepy. Who lied? Who be lying about what now?
You don't hear a response.
What the bloody hell?
You don't hear footsteps.
I'm gonna open the door and stick my head out.
There is no one there.
Well, that's bloody creepy. No footsteps, no footprints, or nothing.
No, I mean this is a pretty clean establishment, so you wouldn't like see dust but like you're not seeing any like mud boot prints or anything like that.
Right.
But a chill goes straight down your spine.
Ooh, oh. That's... Who's lying to me? What's going on here?
You almost feel like you hear another chuckle, but now it sounds like it's in your room. Like it sounds like it's behind you, but you're not sure you heard it. It sounds like you hear somebody chuckle like a couple rooms away, but it also sounds like it's like right behind you, like maybe like 3 or 4 feet behind you.
Do a quick spin, and grab a dagger out as I'm spinning, and wave it around left and right. And then. And no, and then.
Do you want to roll me a perception check?
Why, certainly. Oof. Perception is... It's, 12.
You know how sometimes you think you see somebody out of the corner of your eye, and it's not unsettling, right? Like, let's say you're like at out and about, right? And you're like, oh, hey, I know that guy, and you turn to look for what you saw out of the corner of your eye, and it's not there, and it's like a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
That happens.
That's bloody unsettling.
Yes. Good. Okay. So it sounds like somebody's coming up the stairs again.
Alright, I go back in my room and I close the door quickly and still put my ear up against it.
This time
and blow out my candle.
Okay. This time you hear what sounds like I mean, the steps are slow. This person sounds tired, and it sounds like they're carrying something heavy. And you hear a door creak open and then close, and then nothing. And then you hear what is probably Gorko come up and like set a tray down, and then he heads back down. His footsteps are light and sort of quick, like he's like bustling. And then I think the next thing you hear is the party coming up the stairs. I don't know if you'd hear Marthalla hesitate at the door because like 3 of them are coming up the stairs at the same time and like opening doors and going in them.
Yeah, Druge isn't super quiet coming upstairs.
Well, so you hear everybody come upstairs. Druge has a particularly distinct tread. You might recognize Marthalla's as well. Brandle's probably pretty hard to hear because sneaky Furbolg. And then nothing. Like your friends came upstairs and went to bed.
Those jerks didn't come in and check on me, say hi. Who's lying to me? I will check to see if there is indeed a tray outside.
Yeah, there is. It's a couple doors down across the hallway. None of your friends are staying in that room.
Oh. Well, if it's not for me, I won't eat it.
Well, Gorko brought up a tray for you last time.
Earlier, yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, that was earlier.
I got another
Had
subscriber.
heard of second dinner?
Thanks, Alex. I have heard of second dinner, yes. Sorry. It is not in front of your door. It's not in front of your friend's door. So if you steal it, you'd really be stealing. Unlike...
Is there anything tasty looking on it?
It's the same sort of soup that you got. Same pretty hearty bread with butter on it, which is that's a sign of a good inn. That's probably it.
All right then, fine.
Yeah. Okay, you gonna head to bed?
Yeah, but I cast light on as many things as I can. I blow out the candle, but I don't. I got a little chill down my spine, so I don't want to be in the dark.
Some night lights.
Yeah.
Roll me. I never know what to do when I want this kind of roll. I want like a will check, like a.
Constitution?
Yeah, I guess that'll work.
That's not my good thing.
It's better than strength.
It's true. It's 14.
Okay.
Could always just roll persuasion.
No.
So I'll say, if and disagree with this if you'd like, but I'll say that you fall asleep, and you wake up the next morning, but somewhere after you've fallen asleep, you think you hear, like, you're just awake enough that you think you hear that chuckle again, but right next to your ear on the pillow, but you're the kind of half awake that, like, it doesn't bother you then, like, your brain just kind of like notes it, and then you fall back asleep, but you remember when you wake up.
That's bloody unsettling. Sure, yeah. I dislike this.
When you wake up the next morning, you notice that there's a note underneath your door.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what does it say?
It says, "I told you they were lying. Yeah, it says, I told you they were lying. Don't you want to know why?"
Yeah, I want to know why. Who's lying? Is this written like ink and pen kind of thing, or is
Yep.
there something weird about it? Okay.
I told you they were lying is on the top line, and then a separate line underneath it says, "Don't you want to know why?" It doesn't look like any handwriting you're familiar with. What do you do with the note?
I'm gonna roll it up and stick it in my shirt pocket.
Okay. All right. What are you going to do next? Gonna head downstairs? You gonna mope in your room some more?
Am I the first one up?
Let me send a message.
You can tell it's gonna be a good session when the GM starts sending secret messages.
Really what happened is I forgot to set up a bunch of this before today. Like last session, I have a bunch of notes on my notes last session being like, make sure you check on this, and make sure you check on this, and make sure you check on this. And I didn't. So really this is the sign of an unprepared GM. Okay.
Wow,
How would-
amazing Shauna is.
Relic, how would you know if you were the first one up?
Well, that's, you know what, that's a good question. After I suppose after last night when they all just left me up there and forgot all about me, well, I don't need them anyway. It's a good opportunity to go get them arrested for selling me into slavery.
Wow.
No, I won't actually do that. I think I've learned my lesson on that particular front, but you know what? I will go downstairs.
Okay.
I'll put on my little kid get up, and I'll go downstairs. It should be relatively. We've been here before, right? So we know
Yeah.
in the morning it's not really busy or anything like that. So I feel
No.
like it should be
Yeah.
safe to.
Yeah.
Safe to go down.
This is a pretty chill inn. It doesn't usually have overnighters. It's more of a restaurant bar type, and it has rooms. But it is known as a good place to stay.
Yeah,
Chili's
right.
doesn't
So
have rooms.
Maybe not that you've ever slept in.
Oh my god. So you head downstairs.
if you sleep in a Chili's, it has a sleep in.
I was gonna say Chili's of Wisconsin Dells probably has a sleep in.
But also, you said it's a chillin', and I'd like to just go downstairs chillin'.
Yep. So when you head downstairs, Quentin is sitting at a table, eating scrambled eggs and feeding the dog whose name I've forgotten. Marrow.
Marrow.
Bacon. You're feeding Marrow bacon. Maria's bustling. She seems sleepy, like she's yawning a lot. Do you want some
But she's-
coffee? She says.
Oh, yes, I'd love some coffee.
And then she goes,
You
oh!
see the child.
And she takes another look at you and she's like, I'm sorry. And she looks confused, like it looks like she's about to say, I thought you were someone else. And then she goes, I'll bring you some milk, okay?
No, I really like some coffee. It gets me going in the morning.
And she looks at Quentin, because, like, y'all came in together, and she's like, is that
He
okay?
just kind of rolls his eyes and gestures towards him.
And she pours him a cup, but she doesn't, like, fill it, you know? And she's
Oh,
like,
thank you.
do you want some milk with that? So she tries to, like, make it mostly milk and a little bit of coffee.
No, I like it bitter like my soul.
And she's like, you know, okay, fine, you know what? And she just pours you a cup of coffee and then walks away like, I'm too old for this shit.
Thank you. Just put it on
So is
my protector's tab here.
And she doesn't seem to acknowledge, but she probably heard you.
Yeah.
You gonna talk to Quentin at all, or can I wake the next person up?
Has she gone back towards the
Yeah,
back?
she went back into the kitchen.
All right then, Bucko, spill the beans.
Hmm?
You know, up. You're too busy to do anything with me last night, so you must have got up to some business. Go ahead then.
No, Relic, I didn't know you felt that way about me.
What?
Yes, come again.
Never mind. What are you concerned about now?
Yeah, all the sordid details. Come on now, kiss and tell. Spit it out. What?
The sword and details. I don't know what you're talking about. My sword is just fine.
Yeah, I bet it is. You sheathing it last night, or you just polishing it?
I'll smack you upside the head and just ignore you.
I would like to dodge that.
I mean, you are a child. though,
Uncanny dodge.
so-
Roll me a dex check. Roll me a dex check, and Luth, I don't know, roll another. Let's do opposed dex checks for that.
I mean, unarmed strike.
You're not trying to hurt him.
Yeah.
No, but
Are you sure about that?
No, I was just about to say,
Yeah.
you know, I can't be sure about that.
yeah, it's not great.
11.
What am I rolling? You said,
Do a dex
is
check.
it an unarmed strike or is it just?
No, just do a dex check.
That is. Oh, that's 10. If it was unarmed strike, it was 11.
Yeah, that's right. I
Wow.
just dipped right out the way.
Barely missed you.
And snag a piece of bacon off your plate as I do so.
Marrow immediately growls at you.
Hey, what now, mate? You know me. I've been feeding you bacon since you was a pup. Now, jog on.
He continues to be like the growl is more felt than heard. And like if Quentin continues to feed him bacon, he kind of like eats it out of the corner of his mouth while he stares at you.
Like watching, yeah. You know, Marrow's a really good judge of character.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe work on your character instead of your lines, and then he won't growl at you.
Yeah, dogs like me.
I feel like I'm hearing half of this conversation. Like y'all aren't cutting out, but I feel like you're using too many puns or something, and I cannot follow this. Like I caught the sword part barely, but like. Okay.
You, yeah, go ahead.
No, what are you gonna say? I was gonna move on to the next
Nope.
person. So if you
Go
want to
for
say something, say something.
Go for it.
Okay. Who do we think is awake next? Do we think Brandal's sleeping in? Is Marthalla kind of gonna be up with the sun? Druge, what do you think? Marthalla it is.
Well,
That'll
I
be
think-
fun. Oh no, go ahead, Druge.
No, I think Druge, knowing that Felix is coming by for breakfast and being the only person with some semblance of responsibility, will kind of be the next one up. And seeing the room is otherwise still unoccupied, as was the plan when Quentin left last night, will plod downstairs.
Okay, you see Quentin at the table with Relic. Relic is munching on some bacon that Marrow is staring at. Marie comes out of the kitchen and pours you a cup of coffee, and brings you food. I think at this point, if you ask for something, she'll be like, uh-huh. But otherwise, she's just gonna bring you food.
Yeah, the huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's fine with that. He will sit down next to Quentin, and kind of trunk pat Marrow for a second, and
Marrow
kinda
licks
just
you.
settle in.
Marrow's
Great.
definitely gonna lick you. Yeah.
Fantastic. And kind of settle it. He hasn't fully had his coffee yet, but since Quentin hasn't been there, he'll kind of lean over and Felix should be coming by this morning.
Sounds good. We all ready to get paid up and move on?
Think that's the plan.
Good.
Felix actually told you he was having your money deposited straight in the bank.
Yeah, but moving on to the next deal.
Yeah, that's
is
true.
The implication there.
Just checking. Okay.
Or at least that's my interpretation.
It is, yeah, for sure. I just wanted to make sure you knew where the money was. Okay.
Yeah, Druge will drink coffee from the mug, holding it with the trunk, and that'll be the morning.
Great. Okay. If there is not an opinion, then Marthalla, you're up next.
So Marthalla would have woken up. However, I feel like I'm about to make the DM mad. Because she absolutely would have tried to leave everyone and do just a quick little jaunt around town to see if...
Oh, you're not gonna make me mad. I will say, we can absolutely say that you like, just tell me how early you wanted to get up, because it'll depend on whether or not you run into Quentin in the front room.
Oh, she would have made an effort to get up early enough that she thought she'd be the first.
So we thinking like 5 o'clock in the morning?
Well, maybe
Yeah,
not
of
that
course.
early, because then no one's gonna be up. But we'll say 6-ish.
Okay. Are you gonna clomp down the stairs and just head out, or are you gonna
Oh, no,
see if anybody's in there?
Sneak the hell out.
Okay. So when you get to the bottom of the stairs, you see Quentin sitting at a table.
Cool. I sneak out the back.
Great. I'm just gonna let you do that because I want this to happen. What do you do when you go on a walk?
I look for priests. You knew it was gonna happen, Connor. You knew it was gonna happen.
I did, but I didn't know how it was gonna happen, and I'm delighted.
She passed up bait gossip to beat holy men.
So I'm wondering, are you gonna wander the streets and do some perception checks? Are you gonna go back to that district that had churches? That y'all
Is
did
there
that.
like a locate profession?
Would I know that?
Yeah, because remember, wait, did I do that with this campaign? I thought I had you all like chase down somebody that went to an old churchyard. It was like a skills challenge.
Temple district.
Yeah, it was a
Yes,
temple
that
district.
Most definitely happened.
And like when you start out in it, like it's very active, and then it starts to get more and more like abandoned and desolate, and you all ended up way out in like an abandoned, desolate temple. But when you first enter the temple district, like it's quite busy.
Then that is where I would go.
Got it.
Because that's where the holy people hang out.
Okay, and when you get there, are you gonna start asking around for those particular priests, or are you gonna try and set up on a corner and like scan the crowds?
I would set up on a corner and scan the crowds. I wouldn't talk to anybody.
Okay. Must make notes. All right.
Sorry, everyone.
You're fine. All right. Well,
Yeah, this is great. Druge isn't mad, he's just disappointed as soon as he finds out.
Should have have gotten up earlier. Could come with me.
All right, so you're up quite early.
We're done.
What you're going to see on your way there are people that are going to be setting up their market stalls, but they're going to be doing a lot of yawning, and there's a couple of like obscenely cheerful humans, but most people are grumpy. When you get to the temple district, it's actually going to be more active. You're seeing a lot of morning services. You're seeing townsfolk coming in, walking in to do the services, and you're seeing people leaving for even earlier ridiculous services. You're seeing some temples that are dark. They clearly don't do temple services. They probably do them in the evening, but there's quite a bit of activity happening here.
Cool.
One second. So you set up on, is it okay if I say you make a pass first, like you go down to where it stops being, habited?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So you're seeing, the temples you're seeing are all going to be different, right? Like you're going to see stone temples. You're going to see temples that are, okay, there's a cat walking across my desk. Please pardon me for a moment. You're gonna see, you're gonna see stone temples that are like very grand and they have the arched windows and stained glass. You're gonna see more humble places that are like one story and maybe mostly just, good wooden beams. You're gonna see temples that are kind of imposing, right? Like they are not friendly. They go straight out to the street and the doors are closed and locked. You're gonna see, you're the worst, Dash. You're gonna see places that have open courtyards and no gates, and the doors are open. Who's piloting them?
Yeah, who's piloting those stone temples?
I see what happened there. Stone Temple Pilots reference.
Be
It's a band.
disappointed in yourself.
Oh.
Okay. You're gonna. Y'all are the worst. You're not gonna see many kids, right? Because it's pretty early in the morning.
Good, I wouldn't want them to witness this.
And you're not seeing a lot of clergy on the street, but you can hear like chanting and stuff in the temples. Apparently Alex loves puns. I hate them, but welcome to the punnery that I have to put up with. So you're not going to see a lot of the clergy. You're mostly going to be seeing townsfolk coming in and out. But the services start to end, and that's when you start seeing clergy come out on the street. Now, if you're going to stand in one spot, you're going to look a little out of place. Is there a way you want to disguise that?
No.
Great.
No one's looking for me. I mean...
Yeah, but you might get some odd looks. Are you okay with sort of odd looks?
Wow, way to be judgy, churchgoers. Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
I'm fine with
That tracks.
No, hang on. Let's be clear here, okay? What does Marthalla look like? She's a very tall lady. She's got armor on.
Like
and she has a sword, right?
Ready to whoop some ass.
Yeah, in the middle of a temple district. That's gonna draw some glances, okay?
Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
So, do you
Sorry,
think...
not sorry.
Do you think you would have set up outside of a more imposing church or one of the more humble ones, do you think?
I would look for whatever church, probably whichever church was looking gaudiest.
Uh-huh.
And sort of like, over the top. People that I think Relic might want to rob. That's the church I'm hanging out in front of.
Got it. Roll me. I think I want an insight check. I think that sounds right. I do weird things with checks, don't I?
What about religion?
Nah, that's better. I'll take a religion check.
Okay. Good, because I'm way better at that.
I know you. Yeah, that's why I was looking at your sheet. I was like, well,
Hey,
makes
that's
sense.
a dirty 20.
Perfect. Okay, so there are quite a few imposing churches. There are quite a few with like golden paraphernalia, like very high up on the church and not easily stealable from the ground. You're seeing elaborately carved wooden doors with weird, elaborate handles, things like that. But there's one church that just kind of feels like the spot. So what you're looking at is I want you to think of a building that should be imposing, but you can tell is kind of useless. So it's supposed to look really tall and imposing, but it doesn't quite achieve that effect. And the doors are elaborately carved, but the way that the gold has been inlaid into the doors is not flattering. Right? Like it's sort of gaudy. And there's been like a grill, like a steel grill placed over the doors so you can't get to the gold to like steal it. So it looks terrible. There are also statues flanking either side of the door, stone statues, and they're both male. They're both very imposing looking, and they're like frowning fiercely. And they're clearly two different people, and they're wearing like, churchy, temple-y type robes. And what you're hearing from inside that church, you'd been hearing a lot of like chanting and whatnot. What you're hearing inside of that church is, I want you to imagine like somebody who's delivering a sermon full of like judgy stuff.
Okay.
Fire and brimstone.
Lots of damnation going around. All right.
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the church you set up in front of. The people that you see coming out at the end of what, around what the end of the service sounds like are almost all men. The women that you're seeing are cowed, frail. Like they're not like they're following their menfolk type thing. The men look they look like the kind of people that like they need this. They need this in the morning to like get them ready, to going for the day, and they very much agree with whatever they just heard. And then silence. You don't see any of the clergymen come out. Some of the temples you're seeing clergymen come out. They're clearly like on their way to like houses of healing or corners to to beg for charity or whatever. Nobody is coming out of this one. But the door remains like slightly open, so like you could go in if you wanted.
Would I know if there's a back door?
I think a few of these temples have walls. I don't think this is one of them though. But even the ones that have walls, they have like little tiny alleys. So it's something you could check out for sure.
I would like to check and see if there is perhaps a less obvious entrance.
Okay. Do me a sneak.
No, that'll go well.
Yeah. I know.
I have disadvantage on stealth rolls.
I know.
You motherfuckers better not be hiding here.
You know what?
Armor.
You know what? I will give you my role-playing point, so it neutralizes it. You don't have disadvantage.
Ooh.
Fudge, yeah, that's an 18 then.
Great. Worth it. Okay, so you make it back down that alley, and for some reason, you're not making as much noise as you normally are. Like you are so focused. I think that's the right way to sell this, right? Like you're so focused that you're a well-oiled machine at this point. Does that sound right?
Yup. Yeah.
Okay. So you make it to the back. There is a back door. This is the kind of it's less ornate, and it's popped open a little, and you can hear like hustle and bustle of like a kitchen.
Cool, neat, cool. I would like to. Ooh man, I'm gonna walk in and try and walk quickly through the kitchen, pretending like I know exactly what I'm doing, exactly where I'm going, and like I'm supposed to be there.
You're gonna walk into the kitchen in full armor with a sword.
Fake it till you make it. Yeah.
Got it.
Just sort of
Marthalla would like
briskly
to
walk through.
Rage
Hang on.
stealth. It's
I have-
fine.
I have to give somebody my address so they can deliver a PS5. It's very important. Okay. Roll
I think I
me.
just heard your brain explode.
If you can sell me on our persuasion check, I'll let you roll that.
Well, my options are that or performance. I want to believe that this has been a slow burn for Marthalla. This has been a slow burn based on where she's come from,
Mhm.
her time with Relic. All of that sweetness that everyone sees outwardly,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost gone now. So as terrifying as she normally looks, she probably looks even scarier right now
Right.
because she's just done. So
Okay.
I would say it's persuasion in that, like earlier, she's very focused. She's on a mission, and what is a cook gonna do to stop her? Let's be honest here.
Yeah. That. I mostly want you to roll so I can tell what the other people are gonna do.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, roll me a
See how this
persuasion. That
goes.
sounds right.
Oh God, that wasn't awesome. That's a 12.
So sometimes when I ask you to roll, if you tell me a good enough story, right? Like that role playing there is really that sends a really good message. I basically need you to not roll an at one. You know, like I do it's more of a coin flip for me, so it's over a 10. So just
Good.
to over explain this
Good.
a little bit. So is this the kind of thing where you slam open the door, you walk in, you look around, you find the next door, and you walk towards it? Or is this the kind of thing where you're just going to open the door and you're just going to walk right in, you're gonna find the next door as you're walking, and you're just going to keep walking? What are we looking at there?
I'm gonna keep walking, but it's gonna, like, the second one, like, I'm not gonna act like I'm angry, because that's a real easy way to start a fight that you don't intend to.
Okay, so you're gonna so you open the door and you step in and you just start walking to the next door. You're acting like you belong there.
Yep.
What you're seeing
Absolutely.
is absolutely a kitchen. All of the people in this kitchen appear to be female, and they all appear like they've had a very hard life. You notice that they're kind of like looking up at you, but the most reaction you get is from somebody like that looks like they're gonna say something and then is quickly like nope and scrubs that pot harder.
Okay.
So there's one other door in here. You do make it across to that door. Do you wanna listen through it, or do you wanna walk right in?
Walk right in.
Okay, so you're gonna walk right in. You're gonna walk into what it looks like a sort of a back hallway. You imagine that the kitchen wouldn't open out into like a room, like you're familiar with the idea that the kitchen would be like a service hallway, right? Like it would connect into the kitchen. So this hallway will connect into the back way for all of the rooms in this place. Please don't try and draw a map. I'm going to make this shit up in real bendy ways, okay? Just for the record.
Okay.
So what you see is a series of doors, and there's a bigger, fancier door in the end. So
from my location right now, would I assume that leads out to, like, the chapel?
Yes.
Chapel?
Yes, there's one door on your right and like 3 doors on your left, and then the door at the end of the hallway and the door you just came through.
Are you
Anything
saying
that
it's
looks
3
like-
doors down?
Stop it!
We're gonna take a break so I can murder my husband.
Justice
anything-
Stone double pilots.
Anything that looks like an office?
So
Like with, like, maybe a little mail hook outside or something?
So what's interesting is the door at the very end looks fancier. You can assume that's the chapel. The 3 on your left look very utilitarian. They look just like the door that you walked through. The door on your right is closer to the end of the hallway that the chapel door is on. And while it doesn't look as fancy as the chapel door, it looks like a nicer door.
Okay.
Like
I will go and listen at that door. Quietly.
Yeah, we're just going to carry that stealth check for a while because it was a good one. and I want to. Roll me a perception check.
Oh boy, more
Mhm.
stuff I'm not great at.
Alex said, would you say there are flies in the Vaseline?
Fly in the ointment.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but that's another dirty 20.
Great. All right, so I'm gonna say the door.
Dice want me to murder a priest, guys.
Right. I'm gonna say the door like doesn't quite fit in this, so the gaps are quite wide. So you can actually not even cross in front of the door to listen. You can stand like next to it, and you can listen through the like the gap where the hinges are. And here's the conversation you hear. You know what? Actually, we are about halfway through. Can we take a break so I can think of something clever? Is that okay?
Absolutely,
Ah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. Is everybody okay with about a 5-minute break?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna continue ignoring Alex, who is apparently typing in Stone Temple Pilots lyrics. So,
Love you, Alex.
You guys don't hear from me in the second half. The pun was worth it.
okay. So I'm gonna put up a be right back screen after I check it to. Oh no, I broke Streamlabs maybe. Whatever. It'll say what it says. We will be right back in about 5 minutes. So join us back here about 15 minutes after the hour. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Is this working?
This little dog just made out the saddest noise.
Wow.
Okay. Hi,
How
stream
you
stream.
doing?
That went well.
We're back. All right. So as Marthalla is leading in to listen to what is a very clear conversation on the other side of this door, we are going to smash cut back to the inn. So I believe the last one to get up at the inn was Brandel. So Brandel, what's that look like?
I mean, probably just sit down wherever I see the people sitting down.
Okay. So you're gonna sit down at a table with Quentin,
Get
Druge.
some coffee, get some food.
Yep, Quentin, Druge,
Yeah.
and Relic.
Relic?
Murray will bring you food.
Yeah, great.
Is that it? You're good? You're awake and alive? Any conversation happening at this table?
Now I'll just wait to see what they're talking about.
Relic is bouncing back and forth. Anytime Marie comes out,
He goes back to his child voice, but then as soon as
she's gone, he drops back in. All right, mate. Now, serious though. Tell me what happened. Give me the gory details. Come on now.
So you're gonna keep bugging Quentin to tell you things?
Oh yeah. Why not?
How much is Quentin gonna put up with this? How long does Druge put up with it? How long does anybody put up with it?
I think that's a very good question. I think you would reply with something about like, yeah, this child thing is giving me a headache. What's up with this? How long are you gonna keep this up?
until we leave, because I can't get caught here, because, you know, I don't go back to the same town, because I usually piss some people off.
Did you piss anybody off here in particular?
No. But you
Okay,
never
then
know.
what's the problem then?
Look, mate. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Like I said, it's not strictly true. I absolutely make the rules. But these are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And the rules say, don't come back to the same place twice. And that just keeps me safe.
Unless you're a small child.
Right, yeah, I can come back disguised as a child, because nobody's been looking for a child. I mean, you remember that we did that whole thing with the forged note and the captain of the guard and whatnot? You know, you never know when things will come back to bite you in the butt.
Right. What'd you do with Marthalla?
Oh my god, I forgot about that. Sorry, Quentin asked what he did with Marthalla.
I didn't do nothing with her. Y'all didn't come back to my room, so I went to sleep last night. I don't know where she's probably sleeping her dozy head up there.
Coming to your room? Like, why would I go to your room? I never go to your room. Why is this a big deal? What happened?
I don't know, like, you guys off gallivanting around the town all night.
You just left me off, Ray. We just need some more coffee and some bacon and whatnot. And yes, okay, bye.
I'm assuming this is holding back and forth.
I really enjoy that you're just like filling in when Marie comes out. It's amazing. Please keep it going. I'm down.
How long has Marthalla been gone, or like not absent, and how atypical is it at this point for her to not be here?
I think y'all have been. I don't think there were too many gaps. I think y'all usually wake up around the same time, I'll say, and staggering as you come down is just for amusement. So I think you've probably all been up and down at the table. The longest, I think, has been 20 minutes, except for Quentin, who's been here for who knows how long.
A time.
How long has it been since Marthalla was day drinking alone in her room?
That was not yesterday, but the day before.
And there was like travel time, and was it before or after the whole dungeon fiasco?
After.
It was
after.
No, it was before, wasn't it?
I think it was before. I'm just confirming.
I think it was before because it was when Quentin got super drunk.
Yes.
Right.
It was before.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think
so
it's
it's been what, like a week since then?
Yeah, a week. We'll say a week because you were down in the dungeon for hand wavy amounts of time.
Entirely too long.
Yes.
Entirely too long is
way too
the
long.
answer to that question. Yeah, I think knowing that A, Marthalla would probably be down here by now, and B, apparently when she's stressed, she day drinks alone in her room, which she is very clearly stressed at the
Make
moment.
it sound really depressing.
It is.
Oh, if the bottle fits.
Wow.
Wow.
It's not. It is Druge being Team Mom, and we'll probably
Team Mom's
mention
fine.
that at some point.
Yeah,
Well, I
just
mean,
let
the
it
other
doze
tank
away.
pro isn't here, so
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta make sure the defensive line watches out for each other.
So the next sort of thing that someone's gonna go do is check on Marthalla.
Yeah.
Let's-
yeah.
let's-
If no one else says anything, Druge will just go do it.
Okay, let's pause there then, because what ends up happening when you go check on her might change depending on we go back to okay. So we're
Okay,
gonna smash cut back to Marthalla. You're listening outside this door. It sounds like you've come into the middle of maybe an argument, and you hear one guy. They both sound like male voices. One says, "We're gonna stay here as long as it takes," and the other one says, "We've been here for weeks. We can't find any trace of them." And the first one says, "That's not true. We thought we had a sighting of one of them." And the second guy is like, "But we never confirmed that. And that one moves around all the time." And the first one goes, "That one," and it seems like they're deliberately not using names, Marthalla. He says, "That one does move around a lot, which is why we're going to stay here in case we get another sighting." And the first guy's like, "I hate it here." And then they start to bicker about, like, the second guy really wants to leave. And the first guy really wants to stay. What you pick up from their conversation is... what it sounds like is that they move around fairly regularly, that these two in particular are supposed to be hunting for people, and it sounds like they're hunting for people who have, like, run away. You also hear something about, like, things that have been stolen, right? Like, we need to return what's been stolen, and to do that we have to find these people.
Okay.
So the conversation winds down, and you hear the first guy say, "This conversation is done, and go check on the children." And you hear somebody start walking towards the door.
Does the door open into the room or out of the room?
There's an answer to this. I think it opens in. I think doors are supposed to open into a room. Yeah, that sounds right.
All right. This is a difficult question, so I apologize, Dungeon Master, that I'm making your life impossible.
Love those questions.
Ooh, man. What would Marthalla do? What would she do? Does it sound like the voices are coming from a large room, or like they're coming from a small room very close to the door? Like, how close?
Are they in a closet or a massive office, basically?
Yeah.
This is fun because I know what the room looks like in my head, but I don't know how to describe that to somebody who's listening in on the other side of the door.
I
There-
mean, if it
there
was
aren't-
a small room, I feel like I would be able to hear things crystal clear.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of echoes, right? Like you're not hearing any echoes. I think that would indicate that the room is on the smaller side.
Cool. Then I will press myself against the door. Whatever side is opposite the hinges.
Okay.
And try and press myself as flush as I can. And then the minute that person walks through the door,
Mhm.
I'm gonna come around and cover their mouth with one hand and then turn right back into the room.
Okay.
You're fucked.
I'm just thinking. I don't think I'm going to have you do a check for this because the guy that comes out is actually on the smaller side. And so it's fairly easy for you to manhandle them back into the room. Are you going to close the door behind you?
Yep.
Can you give me... Actually, I'll ask you for a strength check.
Okay, that's a thing I can do. And I would have said very quietly, immediately turning back into the room, "Don't say a word or I'll break his neck."
To the guy,
There
like,
we go.
to the other guy that's in the room?
Yep.
Got it.
Strength is an 18.
Okay, so you have a very good grip on this guy because he rolled terribly. Can you now roll me an intimidation check? With advantage, because you do have a very good grip on this guy. Ooh.
Is this a strength-based intimidation or charisma-based?
That makes a big difference for Marthalla.
Strength. Because she's using a lot of body language on this, and she's in a threatening stance, so I could see that as strength.
Thank goodness. That's a 21.
Great. One moment. Tara, down. Sorry, there's someone at the door, so my dog is like, there's someone at the door, so I'm just muting so that there's no barking on stream. My apologies. Okay, so what did you say that intimidation was?
21.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So the dude behind the desk is, looks like a spoiled nobleman's son, but he's wearing the robes, whoever described. Did Harlick describe? Yes, I think Harlick described the robes. I think Harlick mentioned a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Signet.
A signet ring. So the guy you've got in your grip doesn't have a signet ring, but the guy at the desk does. So you've walked into like what looks like an office. So there's a fairly modest sized desk. There's another door that's open and looks like it's like a sleeping area. Yeah, and so he looks coldly furious, and he had started to rise, but when you said don't say a word, I'll break his neck, he like sinks back down into the chair, but he's very tense. The guy you've got is not he doesn't seem to be acting scared. He's also like very tense, like he's waiting to do something. What you gonna do next?
All right. I can be reasonable. Who are you looking for?
The guy at the desk is going to roll me a perception check. Or no, roll me an insight.
Okay. 17.
All right. So you see the guy at the desk sort of flick his eyes downwards, and then look back up at you, and he seems to be gathering his papers on the desk, like he's trying to act like casual. So he stops. He's gonna lean back in the chair and he's gonna cross his leg, and he's gonna sort of like, he's got like one of those little chin beards, and on him it does not look good, and he's gonna rub that a little bit, and he's going to sort of consider you, and he'll say, "Why do you need to know?"
A friend told me an unsavory story about some gentlemen who happen to be dressing oddly like you, so...
You cut out there. Can you say that again?
A friend told me a very unfortunate story about some gentlemen who happen to be dressed like you all, so...
He says, lots of orders dress like us. Can you be more specific?
Can you? I asked you a question, sir, and I'll tighten my grip
And
on the man's face.
He'll like gulp. You can see his Adam's apple bop. And the guy at the desk does not seem concerned about his compatriot, and he says that what what we do in this town and the business we conduct here is no business of yours.
He's sitting in a chair, you said?
Yeah.
In a fast movement, I will take a quick leap towards him,
Mhm.
go wings out, and try and knock the chair backwards
Okay.
onto the floor, so that I am now towering over him with his compatriot in a vice grip, and my wings out.
Your intimidation check was pretty high, right?
Yeah, it was a dirty 20, I think. 21,
Yeah.
something like
So
that.
I think wings out would just make that more so. Like, I don't think it dipped at all. So I'm not going to ask you for another check. I think that's just going to persist here. When the wings come out, the shock on this guy's face is really obvious, and he doesn't try to get it under control at all. And there's a sense of, you're getting a sense of fear from him, and he keeps looking at your wings. Now your wings they sort of materialize, and they're like flames.
Yeah, it's like a soft candlelight. It's not like fire and brimstone
Right.
style flames.
It's like a
But
glowy.
they've got almost like a silver metallic sheen to them, like
Right.
like iron, like a forge, basically.
Got it. Yes, that's a great visual. Okay. So he's definitely is focusing very much on the wings. And he says, I don't know what we can tell you. We don't have actual names for them. They're just things we know. We just know these boys. Like, they run away, and then we have to find them, and sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. He's kind of babbling at this point.
Excuse me for a moment. You're looking for little children.
And he says sometimes they're children, and sometimes, some of them we look for years. This one's, some of the people we're looking for, we've been looking for decades.
Who were you just talking about? Can you describe them? Like, are they tall? Are they short?
And he kind of flicks his eyes back to the desk, because he's on the ground at this point. And the one in your hands is going to start to struggle. And the one on the floor is going to, not in any appreciable way, you just notice. The one on the floor is going to say, we're not supposed to talk about this. He's sort of groveling at this point. Like, it's the kind of person that, like, if you push back on a bully, they turn into sort of a grovelly type. That's what's happening here. And so he says, we're not supposed to talk about it. Each of us are given 5 cases, and sometimes we travel together where we have to go to these towns and we set up a new church like the one here, and then once it's set up, then an older initiate will come and run the church and the children, and then we move on. Like, that's just part of what we do. We set up new churches, and we look for the guys. And he said, I inherited my list from my father. He never found any of them, and I've sworn to find them. Like, it's just part of what we do.
What's on the desk?
So what you see on the desk is basically a pile of paper. So you're seeing a lot of like bills and logistic stuff. And you see another sheet that's handwritten in a couple of different hands. And what it seems to be are like sightings, right? So you see like 5th day on the docks, 12 ships docked, was a busier day. It did not see anyone that fits descriptions. And you see stuff like that, like 3rd day, town gate, talked with the guards, nobody unusual has shown up. And they all end with no one that meets the description. Underneath it, you can see he was trying to tuck another piece of paper under. That one seems to have been like out, and it seems to be like half under, and you can see the end of a phrase from a larger note that says matches description.
I'll take a quick glance at the one that's groveling on the floor, just to instill a little bit of extra fear in him, before I, with my free hand, push back the other paper to see what the full note says.
So you see, figure matching description was sent into the rift, appeared several days later, followed to, tried to follow through crowd, lost in the crowd, will continue searching in this area.
Does that mean anything to me?
When y'all first showed up in Wald, you were sent down into the rift.
Right, I was gonna say.
So you,
Okay.
this sounds like it's somebody in your party.
Okay, I'll pick up the paper then, and I'll walk over to the one who's groveling, and the one who is in my grip, struggling right now. I'm going to push him down to the floor and lean over the other guy and say, and hold out the paper. Who was this about? And what do you want with them?
The two men look at each other, and he says, "We are not allowed to write down the descriptions. It's just something that we're taught, and then we give different descriptions to the Watchers." And the other guy who you've pushed down says, "Sometimes they're not even the right descriptions. Sometimes we just send out the Watchers. It's part of what we do. We're not supposed to be."
Give me a physical description right now, or I will crush your skull.
And the one that was groveling kind of buries his face in the floor, and then he looks up and he says, I can't. It's part of my oath. It's part of what we do here. I can't betray my brothers."
I will lead in really close then and say, "That's bad luck for you, love, because it seems like you're no good to me then."
He looks absolutely terrified, and the other one starts to struggle again, like he's trying to get away. And he says, he goes really tight-lipped. He says, like he can't say anything.
Dungeon Master. These are churchly men. How hard would it be for me to kill him?
So the one you've got by the throat is like you're basically like doing this with him. Like you've got a grip on him and he's going wherever you want. Like that one's not going to be that hard. The guy you've got groveling is sturdier. He was, he was a spoiled rich kid, so he was well fed. It's harder to tell whether he's got any like fighting ability. Neither of them are armed though. And you didn't see any weapons in the room. You're sure there's a hidden dagger somewhere, but you've got a longsword, so probably not that hard.
And this is the group that was described as the churchgoers who were hunting Relic.
Yeah, so just to line up all the pieces here. So what Harlick told you was there was a guy being a dick at the church, and he was describing what he looked like. He described what that person looked like to Relic. Relic panicked because he recognized the robes as coming from the order that did all those terrible things to him. Relic tells y'all that the next day. And so you have a very clear description of these robes, and I have not thought of a good description, but I'm just going to say out loud, it matches, the robes they're wearing match perfectly the description that Harlick gave that panicked Relic, that Relic told you about. So there's not a shadow of a doubt that these are the guys. Now,
cool.
I think Marthalla, if you're going down this road of like, are these the guys? What you might be able to do, given on what Relic has described to you, is like look at the rest of the church and see what kind of a church they're running here. You've terrified them so badly that it's possible that they might be talking about like orphans or people who can't remember who they are, and so they're trying to take care of them. It's just barely possible that they're talking about something like that, and And I think Marthalla would think of that, right? Like, because she is concerned about doing the right thing.
Idea. I
Yeah.
have an idea what
Okay.
I want to do.
Yeah.
So now that I've struck the fear of Marthalla into them,
Yep.
I'm gonna ever so slightly loosen my grip on the one and back up from the other just a minute and say, "All right, gentlemen, I'm going to need you two to do me a couple of favors. If you can do this, because you're very good at keeping oaths, I won't have to come back here. Ever. You'd like that, wouldn't you?"
They both not. Like, the one that you had a grip on, like, his head rattles, and the one on the floor, like, sullenly nods.
Here's what you're going to do. You're going to tell the Watchers that you saw these people leaving town. You're going to tell them that you saw them going north. You're going to tell them that they left. Do you understand?
They exchange looks, and the one on the ground nods once.
You're not going to tell anyone I came here today. You're not going to tell anyone what I look like. And you're not going to add me to any of your lists. Is that understood?
The guy that was groveling nods, and he says, "We wouldn't add you to the list. You're not one of ours."
Don't know what that means, but it seems kind of mean. Anyway, look, you're not going to tell anyone I was here, and that's that. You're going to stop looking for the people you're looking for. I don't care about the stupid list that your father gave you, and you're going to stop hunting people because that's not nice.
He bows his head.
Right. You. I'll turn to the one who I have in a vice grip. You were heading out to check on some children?
You see his Adam's apple bob again, and he looks back at the guy groveling and says, "Yes."
You should probably go do that. What's your name?
He looks at the guy on the ground and he says, We don't have names. I am just..."
That's awfully convenient.
And he says, "No, I'm just another brother. That's... And the guy on the ground has sort of, like, sat up at this point, and he goes, "Why do you think there aren't any names on the list and only descriptions?"
I don't
He's
know.
sort of
Maybe
sullen.
you're terrible record keepers. Look. This was not the plan. You mucked it all up. All right. Look. Check on the children, and I'll push the one guy towards the door.
He bolts out the door. Doesn't even hesitate. As soon as you let him go and, like, shove him, he's, like, out of there.
I'm going to take your notes with me.
The priest that you was groveling is sat up against the wall behind this chair at this point. And he's sort of, like, rubbing his elbow, like, and, like, glaring at you, like, "You did this," you know, and he just sort of, like, shrugs, like, whatever. He's gone into sullen mope mode. Very much a spoiled noble son.
Okay. Marthella's gonna, like, kind of get up almost cautiously, like, did I do an intimidate right? Did I do good? Did I do it good? And she's gonna take the notes off the desk and head for the door, and almost instinctively at the doorway she's gonna turn back and start saying thank you, and then remember what she's supposed to be doing and beeline back the way she came.
Got it. Okay, so you make it to the kitchen. Like, nobody stops you. There is an open door kind of behind you to the right at this point, because you're heading out, not through the chapel but through the kitchen.
Do I
and
see anything on the way out?
You can
From the
hear
other guy?
you can hear sort of very subdued kids' voices, but that's about it. Unless you stop and look.
It depends. Do they sound happy or sad?
They sound servile. Like they don't sound like kids playing. They sound like kids answering. And not aggressively. Like they sound very sort of placid.
Cool. So this is a cult. That's exciting. That's good stuff. Yeah. I don't know that I would necessarily. Marthalla would put those dots together immediately. So
Yeah.
I will go back from whence I came and try and sneak back upstairs.
Yeah. So there's the inn has a back entrance. It's meant for in like people who have rooms there to come in, but not necessarily to go out. You were able to get out because you're you. So you're able to get back in fairly easily. The reason I say you're not supposed to be able to get out that way is because they don't want people like skipping out on their bill. But there's a way to get out if there's like a fire or whatever. You figured that out. So you're able to get back in.
A fire or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll kind of like
And I
nonchalantly make my way downstairs, I guess, like too casually.
And so, Druge, I think right as you're about to, like, gotta go check on her, that's when Marthalla comes down.
Great. Has she obviously been into some shit?
I don't know. Like, she didn't, I don't think any of the activities that she was in would have ruffled her at all. You know, like, she didn't.
Right. I'm just
she probably
wondering.
forgot to put her wings away. I'll say that.
Okay.
Yeah,
She
I'm
probably
asking if like she's like
Stomping through the streets.
sweaty from like holding people hostage and considering violent murder. I don't know if wings last long enough for her to be able to get through town. I think they last like a minute or something.
No, it's more than that.
I don't
think
know.
It's like an hour, right?
I'm looking. Oh,
It is 1 minute.
for 1 minute or until you edit as a bonus action. Screw
Oh,
that
1 minute.
stupid
Never mind.
wings.
I mean, that's 10 turns in combat.
Hang on then. Hang on though. We did canon that your eyes glow when you're upset. So what we could say is your wings are back in, but your eyes could still, like, Druge knows you well enough to know your eyes glowing like that means a thing. How about that?
That's acceptable.
And is there hide or hair of Felix anywhere in the vicinity?
Not yet.
Can I roll an insight on Marthalla? I don't know like how super cash or not at all cash she's being. But if she's at all trying to hide it, I don't know
Well,
how obvious that would be.
well,
I guess that's a Marthalla question.
it is. Yeah. I mean, you did say you were coming down nonchalantly. Like, Marthalla, the character, might be trying to hide it, but are you the player saying she's not doing a good job?
Things. That's not a thing.
Cool.
She's
Are the
she
eyes
does like
still
the
glowing?
full on like slow walk down the staircase with the fake yawn, and she's like, "Oh, hey guys."
And the eyes are still glowing a little bit. Yeah. So. Would Druge, what would Druge do?
I think he was kind of midway through the standing up process, and as soon as she starts sauntering down in the least subtle way human or Aasimar possible, are her eyes still glowing?
A little bit, yeah. Not like the full on rage, but like there's enough there that you can see it.
He will look over and make direct eye contact with her, huff through the trunk, and his runes will flash a second, and he'll sit back down.
she'll give you finger guns in response. Really trying to play it cool on the way downstairs.
It's going so well.
Yeah.
She's doing super great.
Okay. Is anyone going... we're getting close to the end of our time. We can either end it here, pick up next time with how y'all are going to react to Marthalla coming downstairs and what happens there, or we can play through that really quickly if any of you are like, I know exactly what I'm going to say right now.
I don't think so.
All right, then that's where we're going to end it for the evening. So Marthalla, so everybody's at the breakfast table. They're starting to get through breakfast. Marthalla, you got up early enough, and Quentin will know. No, Quentin won't because you snuck around him. You got up early enough that you were able to get there and back, and they've only been at the table for maybe 30 minutes, right? Like it was maybe another 5 or 10 minutes before Druge was like, okay, I'm gonna go check on her. So, so they're about 30 minutes into a meal. Marie keeps bringing coffee absentmindedly. She's very tired for some reason, and Marthalla's coming down the stairs being overly casual. Druge just noticed something is up, and that's where we're gonna leave it for the evening. All right. What'd y'all learn this evening?
Marthalla's about to start a crusade.
Yeah, I don't know if she's about to multi-class into barbarian and rage or paladin and start smiting, but
Something
Marthalla's
bad's about
out
to
of
happen.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, that.
There is a list of people that are being searched for that Marthalla thinks Relic is on, but she also doesn't know that for sure, and the longer she spent in that office, the more she doubted it. So, that's why she stole all the papers, so that someone smarter than her could look at them.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Give me 1 second to get that note down. All right. What else did you learn? Oh, stream. Earlier I said that when I'm asking them what the players learned, you can be entering role-playing moments that you want to nominate for them to vote on. So if there are any moments this evening that you were like, damn, that was good role-playing, toss it into chat for me. Okay, what else did y'all learn this evening? Or are you ready for role-playing moments?
I mean, the back and forth, like, at least Relic is conscious of the trying to keep up the child act with him and Quentin going between, oh, I'm totally an adult and fuck you in particular, and no, I'm a child who's being sold off into child slavery.
Right. That's fair. Other stuff you've learned? Tyler thinks Marie is being haunted as well as Relic.
Oh
that-
yeah, what the hell was
that's
up with that?
Oh yeah, that was
That's something.
Yeah. What was that?
The hallway creeper?
Yeah. Ooh, that's
Relic's
kinda
hearing
scary.
things.
Yep. We can write down something that Relic
He's
learned that
lost it.
everybody else
He
doesn't
just
know.
lost it.
If you want me to
Yeah.
capture that for next time. I mean, I'll
The
probably
ghosts
remember
of
that and remind you, but
recent past?
Well, they aren't a ghost because they left a note, and ghosts isn't polite enough to leave notes, generally speaking.
what do you want
As
me to
we all
capture
know.
for that? Relic had a visitation.
Yeah. Visited
Yeah.
by some concerned
spooker.
citizen. Someone concerned with my well-being.
Okay.
We learned that they are lying to him.
I mean, I did lie to him, though.
Yeah, that's bloody
Yeah.
right.
You don't know that. Shut up.
About to.
Not yet.
Okay. Anything else you learned, or are you ready for role-playing moments? All right. Let me get that set up. What's today?
By the way, I just realized what dice should actually go in my.
Yeah, those are good. Okay, so role-playing moments, because chat can't see, or stream can't see that, so let's do that later.
That's true.
What do you got for role-playing moments this evening, friends?
Marthalla, just yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to Perot her way through with her fists.
I mean, just that entire thing was fantastic. And like going in with the I'm gonna break your neck, and also how hard would these people be to kill? Just all of this. It's fantastic.
Likelihood. Scale of 1 to 10, how pliable are their spines?
I did really enjoy that question. I was like, I know how to answer this. That was fun.
Art of the deal.
Other good role-playing moments.
Art of Negotiation by Marthalla.
Leroy
Just a post-it note.
I was gonna say chapter 1 epilogue, cleaning up.
The epilogue, let someone else talk.
That's what you get for going out without your face.
Mm-hmm.
What does
well,
that mean?
I did accurately name this session,
look.
so
What'd
that's
you name
good.
it?
I named
I
it
forgot to
Priest
look.
Hunting.
Mm.
Okay, other good role-playing moments. Or are we just gonna give it to Marthalla?
I mean, we can't
Sorry,
give it to
guys, I
Marthalla,
kind
but,
of hijacked.
No,
No,
that
it's
was
okay.
fantastic.
That needed to
That was
happen for
great.
sure. Yeah.
Super solid.
Relic having the whole back and forth with the voices that may or may
Yeah.
not be in his head.
Yeah.
And that back and forth with him and Quentin was also really
Quentin defending his date life is a mood. It's perfect.
Yeah.
He's like,
It's
oh,
very
I
much
totally don't know what you mean.
Yeah, just like what you did to Marthalla, just like completely redirect.
That was pretty good. Other moments, or you're all ready to vote? I still do really enjoy Brandel being like, no, I'm just gonna watch and see what other people do. Because that's the same thing as
I mean,
like
it's a
you
lot of
rolling.
fun.
Well, it's the same thing as like you rolling a perception check and me being like, you're gonna share it with the party, and you're like, no, and then someday you do, and it's like, oh, so there's gonna be some defining moment where I'm gonna be like, what's Brandel doing, and we're all gonna be like, oh, he's probably just watching, and you're gonna be like, no, I'm gonna do a thing. It's gonna be epic.
We're gonna hit level 8, and he's gonna have some like bullshit Feywild contract drawn up for each and every one of us with like the thing no one else knows.
Yeah. Okay, other good role-playing moments, you're all ready to vote.
Ready to vote.
Vote. Okay, so we've got Marthalla intimidating the crap out of those priests. How hard would these people be to kill? Relic having the entire back and forth with the voices who may or may not be in his head, and Quentin defending his date life is a mood. His date life is a mood. Oh, I don't know what you mean. Let's see what we got for votes here. Yeah, I did notice that y'all have been at level 5 for like ever. We've been playing for a really long time. I know
We
that.
should change that.
Well, I know that we end up with like these big breaks in between, you know. So, in game time, you've spent like maybe, honestly, maybe like a month and a half at this point, maybe 2. So it kind of makes sense too, but that can be kind of boring. So if y'all are like, nah, I want, you know, it's been 3 months in real life, I want to level up, let me know. I'll see what I can do to like yank you into another dimension and have you battle a Titan or something and give you a level. We'll see what we can do there. So I'm waiting on one more vote, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I need one more.
I mean,
It's you.
We
It's
all know
always
what it
you.
is.
that's pretty good, yeah. I'll go with the parrot.
He's an emoji connoisseur. Like,
He
it's important.
is. So Marthalla's gonna
Okay.
take it for intimidating the crap out of those priests. You did a really good job of that. You really played through that whole thing. I very much enjoyed it as well. So you've got a role playing point next time.
Real talk, guys.
Hmm?
Diana is sad that she didn't kill the priests.
Yeah, I could hear it.
No,
Marthalla wouldn't have,
super
but
wanted
Diana
that to
is
happen.
sad.
I'm a little sad. I really thought we were gonna get some priest death there because man, what you would have triggered there would have been really interesting. You know?
She's gotta be sure.
And that makes total sense for Marthalla, and that's why I mentioned those things, you know, because but yeah, I was a little sad too.
It's the priesthood of the intentionally vague, and I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, as you know, there are reasons, and you might find them out and you might not. We'll see. All right, well, that's game. So, as usual, is there anywhere that Stream can find you over the next week or so? Anything that y'all are up to you want to share?
Ashen Ruin.
What was that?
Ashen Ruin. We have our second episode on Friday.
Yeah, how did that go last week?
It was good. It was
Yeah.
It was good. Met everybody's vampires.
Yeah.
They're pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
It was neato.
So the second episode, that's going to be a good one, right? Because you've just started the story, so you're really going to start getting into the meat of these characters, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, it's only a 4-part series, so everything accelerates very, very quickly.
It does. And you've got some experienced players there, too, so I imagine that's going to be very interesting, because they can really jump into it right away. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, that's very neat. I like that format that you're doing, the 4-part. I might steal it for something over on my side, but it's very cool. And it's the artwork you've got for that going is gorgeous. I really love what you did there.
Thanks.
Other things you'd like Stream to know about that you're doing?
Call of Cthulhu on Thursday, Iron Dust and Blood continued, and we've got our Thursday morning chat show at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and Bard and Barbarian posts a lot of their stuff on Twitter. That's been the easiest way for me to find that kind of stuff. Is I follow you on Twitter, and it usually pops up in my feed when it's happening. So that's a good way to find your stuff, I think. And your schedule's up on Twitch too, right?
It's up on Twitter. We have actually the whole month laid out.
Perfect. Okay, so that's where you can find everything.
And Monday next week, I'm one-shotting guest starring on a Cyberpunk over on Norse Boundaries channel.
Ooh, that's very cool. All right. Anybody else doing anything fun over the next week or so?
I have stuff I want to do, but I make no promises.
All right.
I want to start painting again. I'm getting some setup.
That would be good. And Broken Bane should be starting up again on Saturday, and I don't think I have a guest lined up for brunches. I might do a thing where I ping my old brunches humans. No, I lied. I do have somebody lined up. I've got Dame Sabriel Maston lined up. So they will be joining me, and haven't played D&D with them before, so that should be fun. So come check it out. And I think that's it. Everybody good? You ready? Say goodnight? Okay. All together now.